Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Hunger Games Mockingjay review. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to see it, but if you haven't, I'm going to do my non-spoilery part first, and then I'll get into spoilers and talk about specific moments. I don't have quite the history with the Hunger Games books as I do with Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones on TV. I only read the first one, the first Hunger Games book, so when I saw Catching Fire and now this one, I didn't know what was going to happen going into it. I just feel like your focus is drawn to different things when you already know what the story is versus not knowing. Even if you're not a book reader though, you could feel this giant shift in the tone of the film within the first 15 minutes, like it's completely not a big event film anymore, it's something totally different. The first two films were all about the Hunger Games themselves, like these big epic events. Now that the line has been drawn in the sand between these two big powers inside Panem, it's much more about the power of propaganda and the way it's used. I mean, propaganda was a big part of the first two movies, like whenever they made the tributes go on Caesar's show. It was just that during those moments, it was very clear it was all meant to be bullshit and the characters were just trying to survive it. The difference in Mockingjay, I think, is that the propaganda have become the games. I mean, they've taken the place that the games serve in the story. It's still about this big call to action in the masses and the idea of perceived truth versus actual truth. It's just now we get to hear more than just the one-side story. Some of the most fun parts in the film come from them telling the rebels' side of the story, their side of the propaganda. I mean, the circumstances are still super depressing. I mean, that's part of the Hunger Games thing. It's post-apocalyptic, very much of a downer environment. But all the aspirational aspects of the propaganda are gone. Katniss, just as always, still the reluctant, non-traditional hero. I love Jennifer Lawrence as a hero. Katniss is a very different pill to swallow than, say, someone from an Avengers film. I think that's why a lot of people like The Hunger Games so much, just because it's so different from a traditional action film. They're still able to get a lot of good laughs in. It's even funnier when you listen to what the actors said about the pranks they played on each other while they were filming. Liam Hemsworth said that anytime he had a kissing scene with Jennifer Lawrence, just to be funny, she'd always eat a ton of garlic or something really gross right before they did it. And Elizabeth Banks' Effie always brings a lot of humor into the story. Of all the films, I enjoyed her the most in this film versus Hunger Games and Catching Fire. She's always been the clown, but now she's like the sad clown, which for some reason is funnier to me. I was never a giant fan of Woody Harrelson's Haymitch. In real life, he does share a lot of Haymitch's qualities, like he is a crazy recovering drug addict, but I always felt like he was miscast in this role. He has this strange acting style that feels like it just does not fit in a really serious genre film like this, and Mockingjay is way more serious than the first two films. He does a lot better when he gets to be ridiculous, like Zombieland, completely ridiculous film. He is totally appropriate for that. Julianne Moore and Philip Seymour Hoffman, totally amazing together, not surprised at all. They're both amazing character actors, so you just instantly forget that it's them. It's always fun to watch actors disappear into their characters. The producers of the film actually made this big point to state that they didn't use CG to complete Philip Seymour Hoffman's scenes. He died before he'd finished his last couple of scenes, and they either had the choice of doing CG on another actor's face or just giving his dialogue to someone else, and they just chose the second route. It's not something you notice, but they made a really big deal about it before the movie came out. And just to address some of the criticism of them breaking the movie into two parts, I think the funniest comment I saw on Twitter was Duncan Jones, the director that's doing Warcraft right now. He said something like, the only reason to break the third movie in a trilogy into two parts is because you want to buy a big-ass yacht. I do agree with the sentiment. I mean, if you think about it, the first two Hunger Games films were based on the first two books. If they could do both those books in one film, they could do the third book in one film. If you really hate that Hollywood is doing this with franchise movies now, you have to blame Harry Potter and Warner Brothers. They're the first big franchise to do that two-part finale, like to break the last film in their franchise into two films, so they would have one more year of a guaranteed profit. Warner Brothers did it again with the third Hobbit movie. The Hobbit was actually originally going to be directed by Guillermo del Toro and be just one film. Then Warner Brothers turned it into two films, brought Peter Jackson back, added a whole bunch of stuff that was not in the books. Cut to a little bit later, they add a third film that's pretty much all made up, stuff that's not in the book. It's just now studios can turn what would normally be a $500 million profit over a couple years into a $2 to $3 billion profit over the span of like the next 10 years. The trend isn't going away anytime soon. Disney's doing it with the Marvel films now. Avengers 3, totally going to be broken into two films. Let's all be honest with ourselves for a second. I mean, no matter how many movies they break these into, we're still going to pay to go see them. I'm definitely part of the problem myself in that I financially support this stuff. If no one paid to see them, they wouldn't do this. Mockingjay is still a totally fun ride, and if you haven't read the books, there's some great big set pieces that'll freak you out in a really awesome way. The ending, totally an awesome WTF moment. If you have read the books, you will still cry your eyes out the whole time. If you haven't seen it yet, it's still totally worth the money to pay to see it in a theater. It's still a great film, but here's my big question for you guys. What was your favorite moment? And two, do you care that movies are being broken into two parts like this? So now it's time to get into spoilers. I'm going to do my top 5 moments, so just careful if you haven't seen it. Here we go. General spoiler warning. Number 5, President Snow facts. Like I said, I had not read Catching Fire or Mockingjay, so I actually learned quite a bit about President Snow whenever Finnick went on the air. Whenever they were jamming airwaves with spam, they were spamming as a way to attack the Capitol's defenses, which is also a pretty cool trick. So remember how I said propaganda was the core of the film this time around? The propaganda are the games now, and there are only 2 participants in the ring, the Capitol and the rebels. Finnick explained that he survived in the Capitol by trading secrets, so it was fun to listen to him spill his guts about how President Snow rose to power, like the fact that he uses white roses to cover the smell of blood in his mouth from wounds that will never heal. I don't think that humanizes President Snow in any way. He's still just as terrible as ever. Number 4, Katniss in the studio. This was actually a bit of a funny moment. The first time they tried to make some fake propaganda, it was like the first time the movie let itself have some fun. The whole beginning is just so depressing and serious. All the Hunger Games movies in general kind of begin this way, just with an absence of action, even sound. It's one of the defining characteristics of the franchise, in that they all just begin on these downer moments. So watching Katniss try to act, totally funny, totally hilarious. And it brought Haymitch back into the story, even though he felt a little out of place in District 13. Number 3, Jennifer Lawrence sings the Hanging Tree song. I don't think I've ever heard her sing in any of her movies, but I thought it was beautifully melancholic. Like you're happy and sad at the same time. The song was very appropriate to the story of the movie. It kind of highlighted what was going on in the movie itself. But just in general, it was a great performance, very well timed, very awesome moment. Number 2, Effie Trinket in District 13. Elizabeth Banks, so much more fun this time around. Sad clown, Effie Trinket has all this wit and style, and no one in District 13 gives a shit. I was never a huge fan of her character during the first 2 films. She just felt like a little too fancy for me. But she's like the pressure release valve in this one. So she's a welcome break from all this seriousness. Effie for the win. And my number 1 moment, Peeta Mellark is completely nanners. Like I said, I went into this not knowing what the story was, so I actually kind of thought they were going to do something different with his character. I thought that President Snow was going to turn him into one of those genetically altered dogs, like in Catching Fire, like they were going to have horrifically genetically altered Peeta. I felt some of the editing was a little misleading, but the actual reveal that Peeta was cranked up on Tracker Jacker Venom was still a totally great way to end the movie. Just in general, totally fun. Wasn't quite the roller coaster ride that the other 2 films were, but I think that was kind of the point. The Hunger Games in general is a nice antidote to very traditional big action set piece movies. So if you're looking for something different in like a big blockbuster film, then this is perfect. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of days. Here's a quick update on what my video schedule is going to be. So I'm going to try and get out my Korra Q&A next, and then I'll try and post Constantine before Walking Dead on Sunday night. In case I'm not able to get it out fast enough, I'll just post Constantine on Monday though. I did see Big Hero 6 and Interstellar. I just didn't have time to make videos for them, which kind of sucks. Since TV is going on break though in the next couple of weeks, I will have more time in December for Hobbit Whatnot and a bunch of Star Wars Episode 7 stuff. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and please leave all your movie video requests in the comments. When there's not as much TV on, it's a lot easier for me to do movie videos, so I should be able to do some more in December. In case you guys haven't seen me explain it in my other videos, YouTube gave me this special beta feature to play with. If you're watching this on your mobile phone or on a tablet, there are new links up here at the top of the frame you can click on. It's the same as the links that I had over here. But right now, click here to catch up on Legend of Korra, Q&A coming in a little bit, and click here to learn all about the new Game of Thrones video game from Telltale Games. Gonna be totally amazing. Thank you so much for watching, so I'll see you guys all tonight. High fives.